Hi, I'm Melissa, and this is The Book Break. Today I talked to author Art Coombs, who's the founder and CEO of Columbia, as well as a father, a husband, and he has some awesome books to share. Let's go talk to him. All right, like I said, I am here with Art Coombs, also known as Arthur F. Coombs.
The third.
The third, that's important.
You don't want to get me and my dad confused.
Yes, that's true. Okay, so I want to talk about all of your books. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so you have a lot of years of management, leadership experience, and your first book was Don't Just Manage, Lead.
Don't Just Manage, Lead.
Tell us about this one.
It was really based on my experiences, many years of being a manager, and then trying to improve myself to become a better leader. And the more I began to do that, the more I began to see massive differences between management and leadership. One's not bad and one's not good. Leadership transcends management.
So tell me what you mean. What's the difference between leadership and management?
Oh, I can give you a ton of differences. Here's a couple. Managers are all about the who, the where, the when, the how. They're all about getting a task done and getting the task done on time. That's all they care about. Leaders, they focus on the why. So when I tell you the why, I let you figure out the how, the where, the when, the who. You manage yourself. So this book, one of my favorite mantras is, and I truly believe this, nobody I've ever met wants to be managed. Nobody wants to be managed. Not my kids, not my employees, nobody wants to be managed. However, I've also never met anybody who doesn't want to be led. People want to be led. They want a leader that inspires them. They want a leader that they gravitate towards. They want a leader that says, yeah, I want to go where that person's going.
Yeah.
I believe in what he or she is doing. That's where I want to go. Yeah. And then they figure it out. So
it's kind of like, why do we go to motivational seminars or conferences at all if we don't want to be led to something?
Yeah, absolutely. And you get on to motivational stuff. I personally believe I can't motivate anybody. You have to motivate yourself. You cannot lead others unless you are managing yourself.
Yeah.
You have to self-manage, and that's actually the third book. And then leading sort of into the second book, you also cannot lead others unless there's a real human connection.
Yes, absolutely.
So managers, and I know this sounds really cold, but managers really don't care about a human connection. They really are focused on one thing and one thing only, and that's getting the job done, and getting the job done in budget or on time, or getting it done the way they want it done. That's what they're focused on. And I'm not saying that's wrong. That's important. But leaders transcend that. They're focused as much on the person as they are on the problem. I like to talk about P&E as opposed to P&L. Managers focus on the P&L first. We all know what P&L is, profit and loss. Leaders focus first on the person and empathy. Because when I focus on the person and empathy, in the long run, I get better P&L.
Yeah.
Right? So there's a difference, subtle differences, but subtle differences between management and leadership, and I think a lot of people get them confused, and that's why I came out with Don't Just Manage, Lead.
Awesome. And you mentioned your second book, so I'm going to talk about that now. So your human connection, and this book I see even more for me because I look at this as a parent, as somebody that, in a professional environment. So give us what you mean by human connection. How the L do we do that? That's an L, everyone.
An L, yeah. Yeah, when I first showed this to my mom, she was like, is that a subtle play off a swear word? I'm like, yeah, it is, Mom. It is. But it's an easy way. I like things like that help us remember. I like those little tricks that help us remember things. So the L's, leading, loving, laughing, learning, and living. being present. You cannot form a human connection if you're not doing all 5 of those things. So, for example, again, we live in a world, a very high-tech world, where I get LOLs from my kids, my siblings, my spouse, my colleagues at work. But it never, ever can take the place of a real laughter, face-to-face laughter. It just doesn't, and it can't. Learning. Again, you can't connect with someone unless you're humble enough and vulnerable enough to allow them to teach you. And you also have to be in a position to teach them. There has to be learning. Living, being present. Again, we live in a world where more and more we're being separated and divided, and thousands of people, tons and tons of people have thousands of friends on Facebook or on social media. But yet they're desperately lonely.
Yeah.
Desperately lonely.
Yeah.
And so being present and being in the moment and being right there, I think is critical.
Yeah.
I think is critical.
And one of the things I've heard you talk about before is how many people you can actually have a real relationship and connect with at the time. So we may have thousands of friends online, but how many of those people can we actually connect with?
It's just, you can't have more than 150, 200 real deep relationships. Relationships where I know your kids. I know that they had a soccer tournament. How did it go? You just can't do that with thousands and thousands of people. And I have thousands and thousands of people that follow me on social media. But I don't have a real deep connection with all of them. I'm flattered that they follow me. I really am. But at the same time, I'm realistic enough to know I don't have a deep human connection with them.
Yeah.
I don't. So.
Absolutely. So one of the things I want to bring up is your new book. Mm-hmm. It's called Hard Easy.
Hard Easy.
And that is a great concept that some of our viewers may not understand. So explain that for us.
I personally believe everyone understands it, and I understood it before I understood it. Mm-hmm. Let me explain it. So in this book, Don't Just Manage, Lead, I tell the story of a cattle drive I was on. So I was pushing cows, 1,200 head, with a bunch of ranchers that really knew what they were doing, and I was a wannabe. All 1,200 head of cows push across this stream, and all 25 cowboys are across the stream. Now it's just me and my horse on the other side of the stream. And I go to the place in the stream that I believe is easiest to cross, and my horse pulls up. Now, I don't want to get in too deep, but horses cannot see depth. They see 360 because they're a flight animal. So they can't see depth. So a horse doesn't know if a puddle is 2 inches deep or 2 miles deep. They don't know that.
Oh, wow.
And that's why they shy away from that initially. You've got to teach your horse those types of things. Anyway, my horse wanted to cross where it was not as wide.
Oh.
But it was intensely deep and moving very, very quickly. And I knew that wasn't the place we should cross. But that's where he wanted to cross. So we had a horse and rider debate. And a good friend of mine across the stream, Gordon Birch, he pulls out from behind a pine, and he'd been watching this go on. And he says to me, Coombs, you can live hard easy or easy hard. It's your choice. When you choose to live easy hard, hard sneaks up on you. It hits you hard and hits you fast, almost like you didn't even see what was coming. And that's the dangerous piece. That's a dangerous part of living easy hard. You know, if I want to drive through McDonald's every morning and take unhealthy foods as opposed to going to the gym, you don't see it for a couple of months, 6 months, a year. But if I continued that behavior for a decade, and you could see the difference, yeah, all of a sudden the heart attack comes, or all of a sudden the debt hits you, or all of a sudden something happens.
Yeah.
And you now are stuck with the consequences of living easy hard.
Yeah, that's great.
Anyway.
So your book is brand new. Where can we go buy your book?
You can buy it on Barnes & Nobles, on Amazon, anywhere books are sold online.
Awesome.
So.
And we can also go to your website, artcoombs.com.
Art Coombs, www.artcoombs.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Art. It's been so good talking to you.
Thank you.
All right, and thank you for joining us on the Book Break. We'll see you next time.